Come on, lads, let's get into these cockneys. Just one more win before the World Cup, before we wave you off. It's the Chelsea match preview, so stick around. Welcome back to Black and White Banter, Newcastle fans. If you are new to Black and White Banter, you've never been here before, you've never watched one of these videos, please, before you watch any more, just give us one of them. Little thumbs up goes a long way, and it's about 1 second of your day. It's nice to be nice, isn't it? Go on, whack that like. Gets us into the algorithm of Newcastle United. And if you don't know Black and White Banter, get us across all social media. I've just posted a video tonight. Another interview with Miguel Almiron when he's asked about Grealish after winning Player of the Month. It's worth checking out. Dave, the translator, helps him. Doesn't quite give the truth in what Miguel Almiron's responses are. So make sure you get us Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok as well. And if you do like this video by the end, whack that subscribe. Right, that's the boring stuff out the way. Last game before the World Cup. I don't even like to say them words. I'm very much Newcastle United before England, club before country, every single day of the week. So the fact when Newcastle are giving me the most joy I can remember in what feels like my lifetime, it's going to be taken away from us for just over a month is pretty devastating. But I would like us to go out on a high. We are sitting lovely jubbly in third place in the league. We've got the best defence in the league. We've got some fantastic attacking players. Miguel Almiron basically having his own Premier League Player of the Year competition with himself. Manager of the Month, Player of the Month, Goal of the Month. Everything is just absolutely wonderful as a Newcastle fan at the moment. And we've got probably one of our biggest tests of recent times on Saturday. Chelsea at home. Very difficult team to play against. New manager. Very indifferent form-wise since he's come in, but I do really like Graham Potter. I thought what he did at Brighton, the philosophy he brought into that football club and their playing style was wonderful. You can't expect the manager to work miracles when they first come in. Mid-season as well, so none of the transfers are his. So I don't think Chelsea fans should be panicking too much. Maybe the owners might be, because we know what owners are like in today's game. But because of that indifferent form, I do not fear Chelsea at St James's Park at all. It's the last one before the World Cup. St James's Park is going to be absolutely rocking. It's a 5:30 kick-off, Newcastle fans, and you know what that means. Go to the pub for the same time as a 3 o'clock game, but drink for 2 hours more. More boozy booze, better atmosphere in the ground. Everyone's a winner. So I do quite like 5:30 kick-offs. I just feel like it just adds another spicy element, and obviously we're playing under the lights as well, with how dark the nights in England are now. So that's always a better atmosphere, and I can't wait to get in there again. I keep saying it on every video, match days for me are just a day full of excitement. Get me over to Newcastle ASAP. We didn't see too much in midweek from the Cup to really think that Eddie Howe was going to make too many changes based off what he saw against Crystal Palace. I talked about it on the match review, on the match vlog. Not one player came into that team and said, Eddie, I'm here, which was disappointing. That was the biggest disappointment. We obviously got through. So Eddie Howe, I don't believe he's going to make many changes. Now, for this one, do you bring St Maximin in? It's a difficult one because midweek against Crystal Palace was his time to shine. And yes, he didn't have much supply from everyone else because it was a pretty poor performance. But I just don't know whether he's justified a place in the team, and maybe Eddie Howe thinks differently. Do I think St Maximin can hurt Chelsea? Yes. Do I think St Maximin seems to play better in the really big games? Yes, we've seen what he can do against Man City. He absolutely destroyed them earlier in the year. So I think he's definitely in contention. I'm sure he's in Eddie Howe's thoughts. Now, Callum Wilson. This has caused a bit of debate between me and my friends, and I think a little bit on social media. Eddie Howe said he's still recovering from an illness and he's not sure whether he'll play. Now, hey, I'm not a conspiracy theorist by any means. But has Callum just had a word with Mr. Howe and said, come on Eddie, this has been my dream to go to a World Cup since I was able to walk. My hamstrings are made of cheese. Can you just let me miss this one just in case? I don't know. Do I think it's possible that Callum Wilson has had a polite conversation about his concerns? Yes, would Eddie Howe protect his player and not tell anyone about that and maybe say that he's still ill because he doesn't feel the player's mindset is there with the World Cup on the horizon? Yes, I do. So make of that what you will. I'm not going to jump on this video and start saying I think Eddie Howe is lying, Callum Wilson is not ill. Is this going to be a funny game across the board? Because Bruno knows the World Cup's not far off. Trippier knows, Pope knows, and then you look at the Chelsea team. They've got a load of internationals. I'm not going to try and remember which ones are going to the World Cup off the top of my head. Does that give this whole weekend in the Premier League a weird dynamic? I think it does. Callum Wilson is someone for me who, if he had a conversation where he said he was a little bit concerned about playing so many times in a week, with Palace on Wednesday just gone, Chelsea big game Saturday night, and then the World Cup just there so he can touch it, I wouldn't hold that against him. You've got to remember, Callum Wilson, as much as he probably loves Newcastle United, he's not a Newcastle fan. Playing for England at World Cup, this is his only chance he's ever going to get, and it's a dream come true, and his hamstrings are made of cheese. So make of that what you will. I'd love to get your thoughts in the comments, whether you think he is actually ill or whether it is just protection with that World Cup in mind. It's frustrating if it is, for me, because, and getting away from that, is it a lie, is it not? Just if Callum Wilson isn't playing in general, because Chris Wood totally changes the way we play. Completely. Bruno doesn't have someone to pick out. You don't have a man running the channels. He relies on balls. If I've seen a striker that's so suited to a team like Burnley, where we signed him from, it's Chris Wood. He wants balls into the box, or he's very static. He's not going to run in behind because he lacks pace. You know what you're getting. He wants it to feet, he wants it to chest, and then he needs people running off him. So if I was to play Chris Wood, there's an argument that St. Maximin would work, because he wants it to feet, then he lays it back into the likes of Bruno, and then your Maximins and your Almirons on either side are off. We're not going to get that. So the wingers tomorrow are so important. The burst from midfield, that's why don't change the midfield, in my opinion. Joe Willock has to play because that's what he's good at. If you're losing Callum Wilson's running and his endeavour and his insistence on running the channels and creating all sorts of problems for the defenders, you need it from other areas. And that's why Maximin, again, for me, could maybe come into the equation over Murphy, just because he also has the quality to really cause them a few headaches. But I'm going to be very... If Callum Wilson doesn't play, I don't fancy us to win as much. That's how important I think Callum Wilson is to this team. I watched the difference from when he came back in. Obviously, we had Isak, who I don't think's an out-and-out forward for a temporary little spell. And then Wilson came back in, and it just galvanised the whole team. And he is that important for us, and he's that good at the moment. So if he's not playing, I'm more concerned. But midfield picks itself. That does unfortunately mean that Joe Linton might have to miss out. For me, it's a toss-up between Joe Linton and Maximin on the left-hand side, because Joe Linton in a game like this could be the brick shit-outs that we need, so that gives Eddie Howe another problem. Almiron just needs to keep doing what he's doing, and defensively, I don't see Chelsea breaking us down. We are that good. Pope's in the form of his life. Trippier is just... He's just not human, is he? And then Botman and Shah, solid as houses at the back, and then Dan Burn as well. Quite unlucky maybe not to get in the England squad. So Chelsea have got a problem tomorrow breaking us down, and that's never a concern anymore, which is great to see. But based off that, and based off the fact that Callum Wilson isn't looking like he might play, he might start on the bench, I don't know. And again, let me know if you think that he's actually ill or not, because I am curious about what people think on that one. I'm going to go for a draw. I am. And I'd be over the moon with that. I would love to say we'll get another win at Fortress St James's, but it's all on that injury for me. I think we still have enough in the tank to give them a game without Callum Wilson, but if Chris Wood starts, different dynamic altogether. And I think subconsciously our midfielders play a little bit different, and I saw it. Even though the bigger ones weren't playing on Saturday, I saw it against Crystal Palace on Wednesday. Even when Bruno was on the field, he still didn't have that outlet in front of him. We'll match them run for run. We'll work harder than them. We'll graft our bollocks off. We'll match them for tackles, match them for work rate. So I'm going to go for a draw, because Chelsea's form isn't great, and there maybe he's due a decent result as well. I hope I'm proved wrong. Maggie has actually gone for a Newcastle win, so I'm going against my dog on this video. I'm going for a draw. She's going for a win, because I'm just thinking a bit more logically. She was a little bit excited after a walk. Let me know in the comments, Newcastle fans, what you think about this one. Do you think we'll finish on a high? Do you think Callum Wilson and Eddie Howe are telling a few porkies about his injury? And how do you think the World Cup around the corner is going to affect this match with there being such a short turnaround? It's fascinating tomorrow. There's going to be one player across the Premier League who's going to get injured before the World Cup, let's face it. It's normally an England player. God, I just hope it's not Callum Wilson. I'd be devastated for the kid. So yes, let us know if you are new to Black White Banter Newcastle fans. Whack that if you've lasted this long. Get us across all social media and please hit that subscribe. I do a lot of these videos. I've got so many followers on social media, not so many on YouTube. I don't think the videos are too bad. So be a legend, whack that subscribe. I'm going to try and do a Chelsea match vlog, as I always do now, outside St James's Park for the last one. Get thoughts from fans on all sorts of things and give you as much of the action in the stadium as possible. So keep an eye out for that. And hopefully the next video will feature another 3 points. Let's just go into that World Cup solidly in that top 3, lads. Wouldn't that be nice? Early Christmas present from Santa. How are the lads?